what I personally feel towards Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche is that immense connection because, of course, because of previous Khyentse, I guess, but also what I feel very connected to Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche is when I've heard stories from very close students as yourself, Mark Elliott, and Vivian Kurtz, and Jim Gimian, and Peter Waltz, and so forth, all students of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. I feel that Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche is not somebody where what people describe him as, the crazy wisdom teacher, or the master of all illusion, or this Tibetan teacher who was brave and courageous and reenacted into the Western world of that era. And all of these people say, and then some people say, oh, Rinpoche was out of the control, and all of these things, how people see. But what I personally see him is a pioneer, and I see him as a truly spectacular gentleman in the world of the modern society and the society that we Tibetans live in, the old generation, the old-fashioned way, the old hard-headed way. That Rinpoche was able to step both foot in different eras, in different circumstances, in different situations. And he was able to teach Dharma in such a way that people didn't just hear Dharma or listen to Dharma, but also understand the fundamental equanimity of Tibetan Vajrayana, Buddhism in general, and of course culture and customs, all in one sort of a circle, or all in one bowl. And also, like I quite a lot like the fact that Rinpoche, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, I can't describe much, but what I can describe a little bit was in any attitude, in any actions, deeds, speech, what Rinpoche reenacted, or activities that he unfolded, had a piece of art in that sense itself. For example, I know many people would not agree with me. There would be a lot of disagreement to me, but he drank sake. That itself was an act of art. He smoked cigarette. That itself was an act of art. He used the Japanese empress fan, golden fan. That itself was an immense teaching of elegance, calmness, wisdom, awareness, mindfulness and awareness, wisdom. And that itself is a piece of art. Everything is a piece of art. And especially, this quote, victory over war, I think that itself sums everything up. People shall not remember Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche as this master. People shall not remember Rinpoche as this crazy wisdom guy, or this crazy Tibetan man, or this man who tried to mingle with the Westerners. No. I purely feel nobody can opinionate. I'm sorry, maybe that is not a proper metaphor, but opinionate Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. We shall see him as who he was and what he approached to Buddha Dharma, to Vajrayana, to all of the students, to all of us in this world. I think people shall remember him as who he was. He was a pioneer and he was a hero. And that itself sums everything up. No more, no less, no more explanation is needed. If people don't understand that factor, then I think it becomes the misconceptual perception of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. Rinpoche. That's what I feel also. And also, I feel I have watched the document of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche and the Crazy Wisdom, and sometimes I feel like it's not crazy wisdom, but it's more like when the wisdom is primordially pure, to the most purest state. It has no, the substantial, suited sort of base of yes, no, dirty and undirty. Everything is pure. So once everything becomes pure, that luminous and the luminosity becomes elaborate, and it becomes unconditional. So when it becomes unconditional, in some way you can explain it as wisdom becoming into the craziness. Or I would like to say wisdom at its purest peak. That's, I think, what people should understand, not crazy wisdom. I think that is a big misconception. I'm sure some of you will be upset and maybe a little bit argument with me, but don't shoot the messenger. I tell what I feel. That is all what I want to say. Thank you.
One of the things we were talking about the other day is, of course, he was very shocking. He freaked us out in such a wonderful way. But what I really remember is his love, his unconditional love that he had for his students. And we were talking the other day, and you were talking about how he really sacrificed everything for us.
Yes, also, that's very true, because a Tibetan Lama like him could easily be like all of us, we are so concerned about our looks, our position, our golden throne, our brocade, our golden jewelries, and all of this state and name. We are so attached to this, and we are so attached to nowadays reputations. But Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, step by step, he did everything. He sacrificed his life, first of all, leaving his country. Of course, that was without choice, because Chinese was invading. And then coming to the West, especially in England, and studying in Oxford, and getting married to Diana. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Diana Mpo. That itself explains a lot of things. Why would any Tibetan Lama at that era would ever marry a Westerner, a local Westerner? There is no answer to that. That is only one answer that I feel is he gave up his monastic life to preach dharma into the world of the Western world. The only way to integrate with the dharma into the Western world, only way to really inject with the dharma into Western mind, Western society, Western life, is become one of them. As we say, if you cannot debate, try to learn the other paths, qualities. So Rinpoche, Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche simply adopted the Western ideology, the Western society style to teach and to change the Western world. Actually, all Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche's senior students will agree with me that even though everything seems like Americanism and Westernism, but actually everybody was, even though everybody thought they were Americans, but they were all turned out to become Tibetans. Rinpoche had that ability that nobody knew what he was doing, but at the end he made sure everybody became good Vajrayana spirits. In one part he looked like he was just talking about normal Buddha Dharma, the conceptual thoughts about Buddha Dharma, but actually he was trying to change everybody's life. He was trying to change the Western ideology. I think that is a very, very difficult thing to do, and you need all sacrifice to be done. He sacrificed everything. He sacrificed monastic life, his name, his fame, his reputation, everything, personal gain, whatever. everything that to do with personal issues, he gave it up. Just for the sake of Buddha Dharma, to prevail Buddha Dharma, to prolong Buddha Dharma, and to change the Western society at that moment into Buddhist students. That's why we have all the senior students of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche right now, all churned. When you churn the milk, you get butter. You churn human beings' mind into Buddha Dharma, you get Buddhist Vajrayana students, Vajrayana patrons. That's what he did. And I think that is one of the most amazing things any teacher could have done.
Rinpoche, thank you very much. I think that puts it really, I can't inexpressibly well.
And if I add a little bit that many teachers, from their mouth, they sort of make fun of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, and they say, oh, this cannot work, this is an imbecile work, and this is stupid, this is not traditional, this is not existent work, this will never work. But the funny thing is that all the teachers who say bad things about Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, who make comments on Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche's activity, all want to copy him. They all want to copy him in order to have proper Western students, in order to teach Westerners proper Buddha Dharma. There is no other method. The only teacher I think who was really fully able to get into a Westerner's mind is only Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. There were so many great teachers, starting from the Khyentse Rinpoche and the Kagyü Rinpoche and Khyentse Rinpoche and His Holiness the 14th Lama, Dalai Lama, and then the 16th Karmapa. So great. But these teachers were different because they were so great, immensely amazing. Students were drawn to them. But the funny thing, do you notice that? Funny thing is that after all of these great teachers passed away, nowadays batch, all the teachers are confused. They don't know how to handle Western students, so they try to copy everybody, and then they create a lot of mess. I don't want to comment so much badly, but that becomes a huge mess. Huge mess, difficult to be solved. So I think nobody can copy Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. He is one of a kind, and I don't think anyone should ever, misjudge him and have misunderstanding of his activities. Even though Rinpoche lived very shortly, I think that itself is a teaching. If Rinpoche would have lived right now, it would be great, but the weight of his activity won't be that much. Because Rinpoche lived so shortly, it was such a hit to all the students that it summed it up. Why he was there, what did he do, what was he for, and then end of the story. So I think that was one of the most explicit teachings any teachers could have done. Khyentse Rinpoche and Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche so close. Such so forth, maybe like brothers also. I can say there will never be a teacher like Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. There never was like him. In such a way, I feel like Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche activity is similar like Doshin Zeshi Dorje, Whatever he did for the Buddha Dharma, for the sake of sentient beings, but everything was against the human society, stupid human society, what do you call that, hard-headed, mentality in system.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the most greatest teachings and teachers ever lived. There will never be like him in the future. People can, copy like him. But there is a saying, a cat can crow like a tiger, but a cat cannot, subdue or overcome the animal kingdom. Only a tiger or a lion can do that. The lion's roar can subdue all animals in the animal kingdom. And Rinpoche's teachings will be, shall always remain as a lion's roar throughout all centuries, throughout all decades. And that is what I make aspiration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. I can't express how much that means to me. Beautifully, beautiful. Thank you again.